So hi, everybody. Thank you for coming to our housekeeping webinar, our Getting Ready for 2025 webinar. Very excited to have you here. Please do use the chat and the questions to ask us anything you like as we go along. And if it makes sense to stop, Stephen is going to be monitoring the chat and the questions, and he'll stop us if it's a question that makes sense to answer right away. Otherwise, we will have time at the end where we will gather up anything that makes sense to wait and do at the end. So let's go ahead and dive in. Like to start with our inspirational quote saying, getting ready is the key. So same quote as we always use, because we want to just say thank you for coming. Thank you for being prepared and trying to get ahead of this. Patsy and I are excited to have you here. This makes your life better and our life better. And so thank you very much for taking the time to check this out. So I am Karen, excited to have you here. I've got Patsy that I'll be chatting with. Say hello to everybody, Patsy.
Hi, everybody.
Very good. And as I mentioned, Stephen is also here. Why don't you show us your face, Stephen, and say hello to everybody.
Hello.
All right. So he, excuse me, has the same cough I do, so he will mostly be on mute so as not to get on all of our nerves. But thank you, Stephen, for trying to wrangle all the chats and the questions. And feel free to put links in there to answer any questions if you can. All right, so here's what we're covering today. We're going to talk about new features first. So if that's all you came for, great. You can bail after we're done kind of giving you a tour of what's new over the last year. Then we'll do the housekeeping, which is how you keep everything tidy so that you're in great shape for the new year, and a couple things that we ask you to do kind of as a favor to us. And then how to roll over and get everything set for the new year to save your work from 2025 and get everything in shape to start for 2026. And then we'll give you a little sneak peek of things that we're working on, what we might have new features for you next year. And of course, we're very interested to hear in what you would like us to work on, because all these things are ideas from you. Okay, here we go. New features. We've done quite a bit this year. Hopefully you have noticed some of it and found it useful. So the biggest thing, which if you subscribe to our newsletter, you probably got tired of hearing about, but it's our new regulation tracking. So we have a whole separate webinar just on the new regulation tracking. So feel free to come to that if you're interested in this in particular, but I'm just going to give you a 2-second highlight of it. So here is my bill track 50, and hopefully this came up for everybody and you can see my screen here. So for regulation tracking, it now is a lot more like bill tracking. So if I click into my regulation sheet, each row here is an individual reg. And you might wonder, well, how else could it be? Well, it didn't used to be. So that is the big improvement. One row per reg. And the search query, the search screen now has a bunch more things that you can narrow down by. So the type, the status, the agency category, and just like for committees, you can pick individual agencies or you can pick just the category of agency. And then it still has the choices for you can do a rolling date range or you can do a fixed date range. All right, so that is sort of some of the new queries. There's a bunch of new alert options. So we can tell you not just when there's new regulation, but also when a new hearing has been scheduled or when your reg has changed status or when they put an effective date on it or whatnot. So there's some more options there. Then I'm going to go ahead and click into one of these guys. So if I click on this, we now have the summary, which is summarizing all of the documents we've seen about this and a little bit of information about it. And then the individual documents. So here's the 3 different things we've seen for this reg, the notice and the rule, and then the final rule. And you can see how many pages each one was and when it came out. And if I click on detail, that'll take me to the specific actual document that we had. We will highlight your search terms in here to try to help you figure out why this came up for you. There's also this little search guy here if you want to search within this document, and you can download this actual document if you want and grab this page. We also link it to where we got it when we can, so you can see like where we got it from. And then this summary is specifically for this one document. So the reg summary is for all the documents together, and then this is for just this one document. And then we also have like bills, we have this similar feature. So if this is actually quite of interest to you, you can do similar and see what regulations are going on in other states that are on this same topic. And then if you want to, you can add those to your searching. So this is our new regulation tracker. So the pricing for this, if you're interested in it, is on our main pricing page. So you just go to the home page, click pricing, and this will be listed here. So that's it. That's the new tracker. That's all I'm going to show you about that. But just, it's great. Hopefully that will be super useful to you if you're tracking regulations. Okay, so the next new thing we did, executive order tool. So there's a number of executive orders that came through, and of course that's the wrong branch for us. But with the new regulation tracker, we thought, hey, let's do that too. So we've got the executive orders in with the other regulations, but we also have this whole separate tool. So if we come down in my little navigation bar here, there's this new thing here, executive orders. So this is available to everybody to use. Whether you're a subscriber or not, that's there for you to check these out. And so this is going to be all of the executive orders with the newest one on top. And then you can kind of go down through. And for ones where there's things the state might get involved in, like states aren't going to be worried about the Department of War, but they might be interested in I don't know, not federal architecture, but cashless bail maybe. So I could look at similar bills here, and this is going to take me down to look at what Congress has done on this same topic. So the executive order went out, Congress introduced this bill, and then we can see what the states are doing. So this may not be in direct response, and it may be in direct response. So for some of the older ones, some of the DOJ ones and the DEI ones and other LGBTQ ones, the states then had introduced bills that were either supporting and amplifying what the executive order was asking for, or some states were pushing back on what the executive order was asking for. And so this is a way for you to kind of explore that. So we thought that was kind of fun, so we made you that tool. Maybe it'll be useful to you, I don't know. But that's there. We wanted to highlight that for you. Also, we have added a help mod. So if you are in Bill Track 50, on the side, we have our help center. So now there's this little guy you can chat with. We still have all of the help here divided up into different categories. So you can just go and explore, but now you can ask questions. And often it gives a very good, helpful answer along with links to all of our help documents with like screenshots and everything. And sometimes it completely makes it up. So if you get an answer that doesn't help you, we are here. Patsy and I are here, and we're not artificial, and we're at least moderately intelligent. So please do reach out. Yeah, sometimes it does mix it up. We also have on this same topic a new bill bot. So this is brand new. Maybe you'll find this to be helpful. Let me go. I just lost it. 1 second. Clicked in the wrong place. All right. So if you are looking at a bill, so let's see, maybe I don't know if this is even my sheet. I think it was. Make this a little bigger. All right, so I'm interested maybe in this California AI Transparency Act. And then here I've got, oh my gosh, but it's like this huge, massive thing, and I'm not going to read this. That's crazy. So I can ask AI. So I have this new button here, Ask AI. And it gives me a little box that I can type into, and I can say, hey, I have a company that uses AI to create summaries of legislative bills. Will this bill impact my business? And then I'm like, please say yes, no, or maybe. All right, so I'm going to submit that. And so we will take the bill, package it up. We will take your question, package it up, and we'll send that all to Claude. So Claude is what we're using for this. And it come back and it says, maybe. The bill defines a cover provider as someone with 1 million monthly visitors to California. And so then it gives me some specifics. And I say, well, I don't have 1 million California users yet, I note. So I say submit, and it says, oh, well then. So then, no, you don't have to worry about this bill until you do. And then it says specifically where it got it from. So it might behoove me, if this is like pretty critical, to go ahead and look at the bill and look at that one section. So we do encourage you to still consult the bill text, but this might help speed things up. So this is brand new. We just launched it this week, so you're getting their very first peek at it. We right now have it set to only let you ask 10 questions in a day, and 1,000 questions overall for everybody, just because we didn't want to wake up tomorrow and have a bill for $1 million. So until we figure out like how much each one of these questions costs and how much people are going to use it, it's in a slightly limited mode. But you are welcome to use it, give it a try, ask a bill some questions. Doesn't cost you anything. And then as we see like what the usage is and what it costs, then we will raise those limits as appropriate. But that's right here, right now. So if you have a current subscription, not if you're a free user, but if you have a current subscription, you will have this Ask AI button, and then you can get in there and ask AI. Of course, you can always download a bill and send it off to the like ChatGPT or whatever you like yourself. But this just saves you that trouble, and packages it all up and sends it for you. So I'd love to hear if you think this is going to be useful. Okay. So right now we do not have the Ask AI button on the regs, but we will get that up very soon. So we were just playing with it for the bills to start with. And now that that's launched, we'll probably have regs up within a couple of weeks. Okay, so that is the new bill bot. The bill bot. What do you think, Jackie? Are you going to have fun playing with that?
Yeah, I got a chance to talk with some users yesterday when it was fresh. And the nice thing is, sometimes we, as more regular users, are more comfortable with the minutia, right? And so the AI was exciting to this audience for the ability to have some just high-level talking points, right? And so it was able to kind of give them a quick summary of the impact from their particular perspective and give them a little bulleted list of talking points, for briefing upwards and outward externally to folks who aren't in the minutia day to day. And so that's just one example. I think I see a lot of utility in the filtering, right? I have a lot of folks who go through a high volume, Karen, as you and I were discovering. Some people read a lot of bills, and this might help them get through that.
Right. And to what you said about like what is it for my business, like the example I just did for me, like this AI summary is fine, like it's just a summary of the whole bill, but what does that mean to me? So like you said,
yeah,
doing it from your, so as you said, maybe you've got a bunch of bills to do. So I just came back to the slides and I noticed that Stephen put this little reminder in about the bill sheet bill bot. So we also have the possibility, and this is in beta. This is, I mentioned at the top, we had one thing in beta that you can try, but let me show you how this works. So that question that I asked, does this bill impact me? Or as Patsy was mentioned, like doing a little bit of filtering. So I was here on my little bunch of AI bills, and this is just, I just did, hey, give me anything AI that passed. Okay. But maybe now I want to ask that question of every single bill, but gosh, I sure don't want to go in 172 times and do it, especially since you can only do 10 a day. So I just added me a column and I said, hey, ask that question of every bill and put it in a column in my bill sheet. So this is the new bill sheet bill bot. So if this would be helpful to you, let us know. And you work with the AI bill bot until you have a query, good prompt that you think is going to work for you, and send it to me and tell me which bill sheet and which column. And, you and I can go back and forth on that. And I will put those answers in your bill sheet. And then if this is successful and it seems useful to people, then we will make that something that updates and stays updated over time. So if I sort this now, you can see, okay, it almost started with yes, no, or maybe. A couple times it went on its own. But of course, this is just a note. So now I can update this and just change it to be yes, so that it like works in my sorting. But now I can sort these and like see what the yeses are and the nos are, and then hopefully mostly it's a no. But yeah, so that's just a new feature. Let me know if you want to use it. work with the AI prompt thing that we gave you, get a good prompt that you're happy with, and then drop me a note and we will get this going for you. Okay, so that is the new, what did you call it, Stephen? The Bill Sheet Billbot. So awesome. So that's in beta again.
Marguerite has raised a hand. Shall we let her ask a question?
Yes. How do we do that?
I've just done that. I think, Marguerite, do you want to speak?
Yes, and I'm sorry, the raised hand was inadvertent, but now that I'm on, that you know what, the reason why you read every line of a bill in our case in Wyoming is that there's a section that's repealed, and you've got to go dig out the original statute and read the repeal and figure out what's really afoot. And so I asked about that, and then the and the answer, which I appreciate, is that the summary should catch subtle changes. But I guess is the lesson that when in doubt, read the bill yourself, or
absolutely.
where's the confidence level on these things that are meant to be kind of under the radar, and which is in the details. It always is.
Yeah, so that is you much more helpful for filtering and deciding like if you need to do a deeper dive, much less useful for making business decisions without actually looking at the bill. So for right now, like the AI is pretty good, and I think you have probably seen that the summaries are pretty reliable, but you don't want to hang $1 million on that. But it can help you decide if they're relevant at all. And so like those yeses that came back in mine, like I would go look at all of those. And I would just kind of glance through the no's expecting them to mostly be no, right? So it will save me time, but it won't completely do my job. But at least I can like get some sort of eyes on the ones that might be relevant. But yeah, there's too much nuance. You can't completely go with it. But try it and see what kind of results you get. Especially if we can do it on a sheet from last year and see how it lined up with what you did decide was important. So happy to do experiments like that with you too. All right, so Marguerite, thank you for that. And if we could take you back off your hand, I don't know how to do that. I'll leave that to Stephen.
Just one question, which is quite an interesting one. So the limits on the AI bot searching, is that per organization or per person?
It's per individual user. So you don't have to worry about what your colleagues are doing, or if you run out, you can get them to ask the rest of your questions. And it resets every day, so it's just for now, so that things don't go completely out of control. Okay, and then we've got our merch store. So we just launched a merch store. So if you love BillTrack 50 and you've been using it, especially if you've been using it as a free user, you can support us by buying a t-shirt or a hoodie or something. So just in time for Christmas, you can get one of our delightful items, which is a great chance for me to introduce one of the other things that's new, and that's Kendra. Kendra, are you here? Can we put you on the speaker so you can say hello? Say hello.
Hello, everyone. Lovely to meet you.
So Kendra's also new, and so she's available to help you with writing queries, reviewing bills, just talking about stuff. And also she's designed all our merch. So kudos to her. If you have merch ideas, by all means, hit her up with your thoughts. Okay, so Kendra, I'm not sure how to take you back off. Maybe you know how to mute yourself. Oh, no, I do. There we go. Okay, thank you for saying hi. All right, so other new things, and I will try to speed this up. So the price increase last year bundled in all of the different subscription features that used to cost extra. So I just wanted to remind you, you now have available to you scorecards, mobile stakeholder pages, afternoon alerts, all the things we used to charge extra for. So if any of those are interesting to you, you should check them out and try them out. They're now just included as part of your subscription. We've added HTML reports. So when you make a report using the report button below your bill sheet and create your PDF, you now have the option to actually make it HTML. So if you would rather have HTML for a website or for a newsletter or whatever, anywhere you would rather have it as HTML, then we can give it to you as HTML. We used to only do summaries on bills, but now we've added them to resolutions. So now everything should have a summary. And then we have added legislator export, which I'm actually going to show you real quick. So if you are a paying subscriber, then you have this new tools item here. And what it's the tool right now is legislator export. Obviously, we're planning on more. But this lets you pick a state. We'll pick my favorite state. And then you can now export this whole, everybody, all the legislators into one big spreadsheet that has everybody's contact info so that you can do a mail list to write, to email, whatever. So you can now self-serve out a bunch of contact info for the legislators. So that's available to you to use and refresh yourself any old time. The legislator export does not, unfortunately, include staff, just the legislators. But at least it's the legislators for now. So that's there now if you'd like to take advantage of it. And it will show you just the states that you are subscribing to. Okay, enough of what's new. Let's get into how we're going to deal with 2026. So moving on to housekeeping. Little Bill with a broom. That's very cute. Very good. Steven made the slides, and I think he tries to make me giggle with some of the things. All right, so users. As you know, your subscription comes with unlimited users, and we are happy for you to share with anyone you think would be interested. However, we do ask that you please, once a year, and this is the perfect time, look at your user list, if you're the one in charge, and decide if anyone needs to be removed. Please remove people who should no longer have access to Bill Track 50. If they've left your company or whatever, please just remove them from the list. That would be great. And thank you for doing that. You also might want to just double check your list to make sure everyone who should be on is on. Because you'd hate to find out 2 weeks into the session that someone you thought had some stuff doesn't have any stuff. So also do that. And then you could also check if they have the right permissions. So that's all handled up here under manage users. And so that lets you see everybody, and then you can edit them and decide should they be a security administrator, which lets them add and remove users or not, that kind of thing. We also have a feature to help you kind of go through everybody's permissions, user permission summary. And again, you only see this if you are a manager of the account. But this lets you see like everybody and what they're allowed to see. So I can see like what sheets I've given them permission to do. But you can also see, I'm going to see it by sheet, and I'm going to move this over here. So I can look at like my regulation sheets and see who can see this artificial intelligence, just so that I can see, and then like what permission level. So that's another way for you to kind of go through and make sure everybody has the appropriate permissions. So if it's very important for you who can see what, for whatever reason, you've got different organizations and you want to make sure they're not seeing each other's stuff, or you've got other reasons why things need to be siloed, this is a great way to just double check everything is how you want it to be before the session gets underway. So yeah, take a look at your users, make sure it's the right people, add them if you need them, remove them if you should, and you can just take a quick little peek at what everyone has access to just to double check that that all looks good too. Oh, and one thing I didn't mention, but can. So if you invited somebody and they never did click on their invite, if I look at manage users, I can see Phil has not yet clicked on his invite. So if I want to send that again, I can go to edit and click the box to say send an email again. And then when I say save, that will send the email again. So that's just to help you get everybody up and going before the year starts and the chaos ensues. Okay, so that's your user review. Take a minute to do that, please. That is what our favor that we're asking you to do for us. Make sure the users are all legit. Okay, then you should go through and decide for your bill sheets and reg sheets. This is like spring cleaning. Decide what you can just throw away and don't need anymore, what you're going to archive and just kind of put away and just not use it anymore, and what you want to keep running, but you want to just hide from yourself. And this is to get your list of bill sheets and your list of reg sheets as short as possible, so that when the new year starts, you're as organized and ready to tackle things as you can be. So quick reminder how to do those things. On the bill sheet, if you are in charge of the bill sheet, you can go in and say manage. If you don't have the manage, you're not in charge of the bill sheet, and it's not up to you to keep it tidy. So then you can say delete, and that will let you just absolutely throw it away, and then it's just gone, and it will bother you no more. So if you had a couple of things that you were just doing during the year that aren't relevant, and you just really don't need them anymore, they were just experiments for whatever, then you could just delete them and keep everything a little bit more tidy. Or you might have one like this experiment that I did that I don't really need it, but I might come back and visit it again later. So then I can come to the Manage tab and I can say Archive Bill Sheet, click that and say Save. And then that takes it out of my main list so that it's not here in my way. And it drops it down to the bottom where I have my archived things. And so these are things that I have archived in the past. So that stops updating it, which is great for us. It means we don't have to run your query every night. You can reactivate it any time, but that just kind of gets it out of your way so that it's not clutter, and it pauses it. You can also use archive to freeze something, like if you put it in a blog post or whatever, or in a news article, you can freeze it so that it stays how it was when you meant to share it, so that the bills don't change out from under you in something that you've shared. So it also serves that function. And then you could also hide something. So a reminder of how to do that. If I come up under here and I say manage users, I can manage myself. I'm a concerned advocate. That's me. So I can go to edit and I can go to whichever bill sheet it is that I don't really need to see in my list anymore. And I can just say, you know what? I don't need these key bills. I'm going to set myself to none. And then it won't appear in my list anymore. But I could also come back whenever I want and say that 2019 census thing, I really want to see it again. And then I can give myself permission to it again. So the hide means it keeps running. Anyone who can see it can still see it. You've just taken it out of your list. But it will still run and it will still do whatever. It'll still check for bills every night. The archive stops it from running. So same exact thing goes for regs. So you can do that to kind of just get your list down as short as it can be so that when the new year starts, you've got plenty of room to like make new queries. Now, of course, you have unlimited bill sheets and you can make as many as you want. And we do have customers that have thousands. But once you do that, you just have to search through all of that to find the thing you want. All right. We also recommend that you double check, and we've learned this the hard way, a couple of things. So you want to double check your alerts. Excuse me, especially if you made a bill sheet during the summer. So by default, a bill sheet or a reg sheet doesn't have any alerts turned on. And so you may not have realized that it didn't have alerts turned on because you weren't expecting any over the summer. So if you've made any new bill sheets and you're expecting them to start giving you results, excuse me, I'm sorry. Patsy, I'm going to turn this over to you and I'm going to cough.
Okay. So where she was heading with that is, most days, there are a handful that can't stop, won't stop all year long. But if you made something a while ago and there weren't alerts, we're basically trying to remind you to double check your alerts so you don't email me or Karen in January in a panic wondering why you didn't get an alert because you hadn't checked the box. Here are some other things to remember. If Karen and I share a bill sheet with each other, our alerts are our alerts, hence why we each have our own login. Okay. And also, alerts that you set up are going to be dependent on what you want out of the sheet. Right? So if I'm wanting to catch all, I might click new bill and move on. If it's a priority list, I might be saying, new action, new vote, new version, and then going from there. Something that you have now, part of their sort of repackaging, is there are those afternoon alerts, right? So if the timeliness of the information via your email is important to you, double check whether you have those afternoon alerts set and whether you want them to be set. So that is where we're going with that. But while you have your sheets open, vocabulary can change, right? So check your query terms, check your query structure, right? Is it an all of? Is it a many of? Do you have your quotes around your terms? Do you have your wildcard endings in the right place? If you are searching by words, do you have the right filters that you want? So this is just kind of a, you know, in the medical world, they say, hey, go for your annual physical. This is an annual physical suggestion for your bill sheets, okay?
Exactly.
Because it is not uncommon for me to get, why didn't I get the alert? Well, you didn't have the box checked, okay? They don't default. We don't know what you want from the sheet, so we don't check the boxes for you. You have to go check the boxes. Or sometimes you'll say, hey, I missed this bill. Well, they decided to call something by a different term, right? Or, your query wasn't quite set up right. And so, we're trying to head off some of those frustrations that can come in the early days of a new session.
Yep, exactly. Thank you. So a little bit of time now, just make sure that everything goes smoothly in the beginning of the year. So especially new things that you've made, look at the alerts, maybe make sure the queries are what you think they are before you head off. And hope for the best. Okay, so that is you with a nice tidy bunch of sheets, and you've reviewed them, and you're confident in those, and if you've pared it down to just the list you want, wonderful. So for the ones you're going to keep that you want to turn into the new year, let's talk about how you can save your work and how you can then get your bill sheet ready for the new year. So to start with, if you have done any work on your bill sheet, you might want to save it, and we certainly encourage you to do so. So if you just have a sheet that's showing you every bill in your state as it comes up, and you just use that to pull bills onto other sheets, you don't need to take a snapshot of that. But if you have a sheet where you have done any work, where you have added comments or positions, or you have hidden half the bills and gotten it down to just what's relevant, you might want to save that work. In fact, we would encourage you to save that work. So all you need to do a snapshot is just copy your sheet and then archive it. So let me show you.
While she's pulling that up, I just want to red siren emoji for any of you who are web-based widget connections. The value of the copy is extremely important because it will help protect the existing connection of that sheet to your website people. And then you, me, and your website person don't need to be in an email chain in January because you'll have followed the steps Karen's about to show you.
Thank you, Patsy. Yes, if you do it this way, then your widgets will just continue to work properly into next year. If you archive your current sheet and create a new sheet for the new year, then your widgets are going to stay stuck in last year. And if you want your widget to stay stuck in last year, okay, that's how you do it. But if you want your map on your website to continue to show the new bills, then this is how you should do it. So I'm going to just open the bill sheet that I want to save. And then all I do is go to the Manage tab, and I say Copy. And it says, okay, what do you want the copy to be called? I usually will just change it to be the year so that I know what it is. And then this user data is, do you want to save your comments along with it? So if you put positions or notes, you probably do. So just leave that checked. If you don't, that's fine. And then do you want this to continue to send you alerts? Since this is just a copy, you probably don't need that second set of alerts. So we don't check it. But if you're using this copy because you're splitting your bill sheet into past and not past, and you do want alerts, great. Then keep those alerts. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and do that and say copy. And so now it makes a whole new bill sheet. And I know this is the new bill sheet because it's got the new name on it. This is the 2025 one. And now to make sure it stays put and I can look back at it in the future, I'm just going to do that archive thing I mentioned. So I'm just going to say archive and then done. Now it's frozen. So I've got this little archive flag to remind me that it is. I no longer have the X's, so I can't accidentally remove something. And the query is all in gray to remind you, no, you meant to save this. And so now I can reference what I was doing. I can see the list of bills. All of this is here for me to refer back to. Everything that you've hidden, you have saved. All of the bills you added with a plus, you have saved. So all of your work is now saved and safe, and you can't accidentally change it. Now, if you do want to change it, you can just go unarchive it and change it. But now you've got this snapshot. It drops to the bottom out of the way, and you can actually go into manage users and hide it from yourself if you don't actually need to see it day to day. We encourage you to do this sometime before the end of the year. Take your snapshots and archive them, and then you might want to leave them active for a little while just so that you have them as a reference to before, to make sure you're completely comfortable with your current bill sheet. And then once 2026 gets going, if you want, you can absolutely just go hide all those archive sheets. But then they're there for you to refer to if you ever need them, and to look back and to look for trends, right? Then you can see the bills year to year, and like that is informational as well. Make maps of them. It's so many fun things you can do. All right.
And just a little pile on that. The utility of the similar button on an old sheet can be helpful as well. Once you've identified that you have a handful of bills that you know that you care about. So having building a history of things that you cared about over time can be helpful. And also because just, not everything makes its full way through the journey year after year, and you're bound to see those topics again. So building a library of bills you cared about can be really helpful.
And you can use those as a basis for similar as well. So you can go back to those, open them up and say similar, and then that'll let you know what bills this year are like those bills you cared about last year. Okay, so copy, name it, archive it, done. So that's it for a snapshot. It only takes a minute. Highly encourage you to save your work. We'd love to help. Okay, so the next thing that you're going to want to do is change your timeline and get all of everything moved to be 2026 bills. And I have a couple of notes here. So I've got my key bills here that I've done. And so this is some bills that I thought were important. On my query tab, I've got it set to be the current session. So what that means is it's going to show me 2025 bills. And as the 2026 pre-files start coming through, then those are going to start getting stuck onto your bill sheet as well. And you'll have 2025 and 2026 mixed together for a little while. And then when January comes and all the 2025 sessions go away, then all those bills will fall out of your bill sheet automatically, and you will only see the 2026. So pre-files start at different times in different states. So Stephen, can you tell us what states we have pre-filing so far? Did we lose Stephen?
Yes, I can.
Excellent.
Let me just put my camera on. Yes, so there's only a few states pre-filing at the moment, though that will increase. Currently, we've got Alabama, Florida, Oklahoma, Arizona, New Hampshire, and Virginia.
Very good. Thank you, Stephen. So those will already show 2026 bills, and more will come through like we mentioned. Now, if you only want the pre-files, now note, you've already saved this sheet. So you've got your archive snapshot of it. So now we can mess around with impunity, because if we screw it all up, we can make another copy of the old one. We've got that saved. So you can go ahead and do these things. But ideally, this is not too hard. All right. So if you only want the 2026 pre-files, then you can just make it say 2026. If you do want only 2025 and you don't want the pre-files, you can make your dot say 2025. Now, I will note, I am taking this dot and pulling it backwards. You can only go backwards with the top dot. So if you want to actually move 2025 up, you've got to put the top dot out of the way and then move this other dot over. And now you can, anyway, it's annoying, but you can only pull backwards for the first dot. We call it the dot dance. It's just how it works, and I'm sorry. But anyway, or if you leave it as current, then like I said, you get both for a little while, and then the 2025 will go away. So whatever makes sense for you. Do you want 2025 only, 2026 only, or are you happy with them mixed up? I'm going to leave this mixed up. And then the other thing is these bills that I have added, I either typed these in with my little fingers, or I used the plus from somewhere, the track this bill button, or the plus from a different bill sheet, and I added these to this bill sheet. So these are the ones I added one by one intentionally. Now, some of these might be from old sessions. Some of them might be from new sessions. So if I hover over this remove, it'll show me in red which bills are actually from old years. And it could be I don't need old years anymore. So I can click remove and it will just remove them all and leave the ones that are active. Now note, if you have a state that is a biennial state, about half the states have 2-year sessions, then we know a 2025 bill is still active in 2026 and we won't show it to you as old. We will keep track of which states have 1-year sessions for you. So all you have to do is come in here and click remove. Now, note, it is currently 2025. So if you come in here right now, 2025 bills are still current. So you're going to want to come clean these out sometime in January. And then that'll just remove all the old bills, but it's just one click. You get a chance to review it. And then when you click on it, it'll remove the bills that are old. So it's as simple as that. But if you've been adding bills, especially if you have like a list of key bills, this is a great way to just clean them out. Okay. You also have one more thing to know about on the hidden tab. So we keep the bills that you have hidden. Let me find one with a few more things that are hidden. So we keep the bills that you've hidden over time here on the hidden tab, as you know. So you can come back and unhide them at any time. However, once you hide a bill, it stays here forever. So even though it's many years old, like they will accumulate here, which is not a problem, but it can make it a little harder to find the bill you're looking for, and this can get kind of big over time. So this update all button will remove any bill that no longer meets your query. So if you've changed your states or if you've changed your sessions, it will remove things from the wrong session or the wrong state just to keep this all tidy and just the bills that actually need to stay hidden. The reason that we leave them there is because if you go in and change your query and you misspell a word and all of a sudden you get no results, and then you go back and you fix your typo and your results come back, you don't want to have lost everything you hid. Like that was work and we don't want you to lose it. So that's why we just leave them here forevermore, so that to ensure against mistakes, which we learned that the hard way. So that is, sorry, the other thing that you can do. So you want to go into your query and remove old bills that you've added on purpose. And then you might want to come in here and say update all to remove bills that you've hidden that are no longer relevant because they're from previous sessions. But that's up to you. You're welcome to keep older bills in both places if you like. Okay.
Well, can I real quick, on the hidden tab, if you are on the newer side, you just want to know that like there is a column that tells you when you hit it and when the bill was last amended. And then also if you have a bunch of bill sheets, like you'll see Karen's got like 73 of them, right? She can travel over on the blue nav bar and go up to alerts, and it'll help her kind of get a sense under her amended bill sheets where she wants to go relative to that activity. So if you're on the newer side, I just wanted to flag some of the more basics about that.
Good, and I'll talk about that about regulation specifically in a minute, but it's very true about bills too. So what this is showing me, these little alert guys, this is like how many changes I've had on my bill sheets, and so I can see like where we've had some new votes and some new bills. So I can just scan real quick what bill sheets I want to look at. This amended bill sheets is what bill sheet has been amended since I hit it. So that will help you figure out if there's any place you might want to go double check those bills to see if they've become important in the amending. So we want you to be able to hide things with confidence, but we do want to alert you if something changes with something you hid. So they will stay there for a week. So this amended bill sheets will be anything that's been amended in the last week. So if you come in every Monday, every Friday, whatever, and review the amended things, then you won't ever miss a bill that's been amended that you hid. It'll at least let you know, and you can just double check it real quick. Okay, so then that was a good preview into how we're gonna do our, oh, actually, one more thing about the session timeline before we get into the regs. So as we mentioned, pre-filing is starting, and I showed you the dot dance. And for biennials, again, if you have a 2025 bill, it's gonna stay on your bill sheet next year, except for New Jersey, because their session ends this year. but it doesn't end January 1st. It ends sometime in January. So sometime in January, your old New Jerseys will fall off and you'll only have new New Jerseys. And then we have Hawaii, Oklahoma, and New Hampshire, which are kind of biennials and kind of not. We sort of handle that behind the scenes. So Oklahoma will carry over a big batch of bills. Hawaii will carry over a big batch of bills. And they keep the same bill number, which is why we kind of think of it as a biennial, because they're keeping the same bill numbers. And New Hampshire just put through some too. So those carryovers will just carry over, but it'll now say it's a 2026 session bill. So that's very subtle, but if you click through it and you're like, well, I haven't looked at this yet, but it's a 2026 bill, that's because you looked at it in 2025, but it carried over. So anything hidden will stay hidden. Any comments you put on them will stay on them. For all intents and purposes, you don't need to know this, but I just pointed out just in case, like you happen to notice it now says 2026. That's why, because in these 3 states, that's just how we do it. Okay. For regulations a little trickier, tiny bit trickier, because there's not sessions. And so you can change your time frame, or you can set it to a rolling time frame, like I mentioned before. You should absolutely remove regs you don't need, because they're not going to fall off automatically, like bills just go away when they're out of session. Regs will not. So it's a little more important for you to curate out the old things. But with hiding, and this is a point Patsy was making, if it gets changed when it's hidden for regulations, that's even more important, because it could have been something you hit a couple of years ago. So again, we have that hidden tab, and we have that alert thing that we built very much to help you keep up with your regulations that have changed. So this is all of my regulation sheets that have had a change. This is any regulation sheet where you've hidden a reg and it's gotten a new document, or something else is, well, specifically it's gotten a new document. So if something has happened with a reg that you were following, where that was on your reg sheet but you hid, we will list it here again for a week to let you know a new document has come up. So if there's a rule review on a reg you hid, this will let you know that that is happening. So again, we're just trying to give you all the tools you need to not miss something that you hid but came back up. So just be aware, and thank you, Patsy, for pointing that out. True of bills too. We're trying to help. We don't want you to miss anything. Okay. So that is the stuff you came to see. So that is how you tidy up, and our recommendations for that. And that is specifically how you can get everything ready for the new year, changing your timelines, cleaning up old stuff and getting it out so that all of your things are fresh and ready to hit the ground running. So we highly recommend you do that sometime between now and the end of the year. If you run into any questions, or you're a little unsure about taking the snapshots, or if you do it and then you look at your widgets and your widgets are not what you thought they should be, and if you have maps and other things on your website, we definitely recommend you check those after you do all of this work, just to make sure they're doing what you think they should do. Excuse me. And if anything is amiss, drop us a note. Me, Patsy, Stephen, and Kendra are all here to help you figure it out, and help you with your queries, and help you roll things over and take all your snapshots and all of that. So we will absolutely get on a meeting with you and help you get all of this ready if you have any doubts at all. Or if you try it and you're afraid you screwed it up, we are happy to dive in and help you fix it. So right, so now a quick preview of the things that we're working on, and just a couple minutes so that you have some idea where we're going. So as you know, we're going to make a bill sheet column that you can put an AI prompt into, the bill sheet bill bot, apparently we're going to call it, which I love that. We are working on, and so far haven't gotten too far, on letting you write a prompt to find bills. So right now, of course, you can't just say gun control bills, because gun control isn't a phrase that's going to be in any bill. But we would like you to be able to say, I'm interested in gun controls that do this kind of thing, and then have it go find bills. So we're in the baby steps of that. We hope that that will be coming next year. We're also been working with, and Stephen has been deep into this, extracting data out of the regs to put into the bill sheet. So things like the effective date or the hearing dates or whatever. It's not good enough yet. We're not happy enough with it yet. It's like 80% good, and that's not good enough. But we're hopeful that we will be able to get some of those dates so that we have more information. So right now on the reg sheet, none of it is AI except for the AI summary. It's all like stuff we were able to pull out of the metadata or somehow out of like some place where it was very structured and we could get it, and we are confident that it's right and put it on your sheet. So that is all purely out of the bills, right, or out of the regs right now. But we are looking at maybe using AI to extract a little bit more data. Okay, other things we're going to do, we're hoping to work on getting, when a bill quotes or cites what exact code it's amending, we hope to make that a link so that you can go read that code. I think that will be popular in Wyoming, so that you can go and look at the law itself and see like what's going on. So that's something that we're working on. If we're successful with that, that will let us do improved topic searching, because we'll have the title in the section and we can like give you more of a an idea like what the different bills are about instead of just relying on what committee they've been referred to. We have been, as you know, we have the federal executive orders. We have been working on adding state executive orders. So several states, we have the governor's, executive orders in there, and we're working on more. So you should see more and more of those come into the reg tracking. We should have the executive orders in there too. And then we're also, for the reg tracking, working on getting public utility commission dockets. We just getting started. We're not sure if we're going to be able to get all 50 states, but we know we can get some of them, and we're looking at getting those and scraping those and putting those in as part of the regulation tracking as well. We would love to hear which of these you think are important. And also, if you have things you wish we would work on, let us know, and we will put them on the list. We're always very interested in your feedback. Okay. Bunch of resources for you. These will all be in the email that we send you after the webinar. So we mentioned the Help Center. That's got tons of stuff in it. We mentioned reach out to us, have a meeting with us, so you can go to our Calendly anytime and put yourself on our schedule. The release notes, which is available in that blue panel on the side, always updating what you can do and how to use it. And so that's always there. So you can see like what we've added in the last few months if you're ever interested. You can subscribe to our newsletter, which is about once a month, little less. We send it maybe 10 times a year, with the latest data we've added, with the latest features we've added, with what's coming next, or any kind of warnings about things you need to do. And then we have the webinar blog post, like I mentioned, we will send you that too. And by the way, we have a Substack with lots of things about legislation. We have a podcast called Beyond the Bill Number, which you can listen to or watch on TikTok or YouTube. YouTube, of course, we have all of our tutorials, so you can check that out. The new merch store. Okay, so we'll be sending you links to all of that. Great. So absolutely feel free to reach out to us anytime. I'm Karen at LegiNation. We've got Patsy at LegiNation, Stephen at LegiNation, and Kendra. Yay, Kendra. So reach out with any questions or get on our Calendly, and of course, we're happy to meet. Okay, so happy to take any questions in the last few minutes. And if you got to go, great. Thank you very much for coming. Hopefully this will be helpful to you. And if you need any additional help, let us know. All right. Any questions? Anything we didn't cover? Anything specific you'd like us to talk about? Thank you for your questions while we were going through as well.
I don't see any questions.
All right. Yes, that was a lot. I'm sorry. Go full speed, but we got through it all.
We have a hand up from Robert. Let me allow him to talk.
Very good.
You'll need to unmute yourself, Robert. There we go.
Got it. Thank you. Karen.
Yes.
The customized AI that you can put on a bill sheet, does that follow the limits of 50 queries or?
No.
So you could do
that'll just be all the bills on your bill sheet, however many it is.
So you could do an industry specific query. Excellent.
Yep. And I mean, it'll take a while. If you ask for 5,000, it'll crank for a while, but we'll do it. So yeah, just tell me what bill sheet and figure out a query or a prompt, and we'll give it a go.
Very good. Thank you.
Great. I'm interested to try it with you. And
So
fair
am I.
question. It wouldn't be that useful if it was only 10, would it? So yeah, that was a good question. All right. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate your coming. And yeah, feel free to talk to us more anytime you need us. So you want to say goodbye, everybody?
Bye-bye.
Hi, everybody.
Everybody.